Welcome back to my channel. Today, we're going to talk about a theatrical release from earlier this year, The Personal History of David Copperfield. Before I begin, let me know in the comments if you were looking forward to this or what your thoughts are if you've seen it already, and make sure to give this a thumbs up if you like these reviews. It helps me out immensely if you do that. Also, if you're new here and you like movies, whether it be blockbusters, hidden gems, or everything in between, please consider hitting that subscribe button so you can stay up to date with reviews of new releases and some classics. But now, let's jump right into it. This stars Dev Patel as David Copperfield, chronicling his adventures from birth to young adulthood. Abused and orphaned as a young boy, he's sent away to work in a factory where he lodges with a man named Mr. Micawber, played by Peter Capaldi. Once he's older, he sets off to find his wealthy aunt, played by Tilda Swinton, where he hopes to have a fresh start to life. This is one of many adaptations of the classic Charles Dickens novel, having been adapted countless times for both film and television, none of which I've actually seen. And I'll also be upfront, I never read the original story, and I know very little about it. Though I was still excited for this, and I even included it in my now irrelevant most anticipated movies of the year list, all the way back in January. The main reason being, it's written and directed by Armando Iannucci, the creator of the HBO series Veep and the BBC series The Thick of It, the latter of which I enjoy a lot. And he also wrote and directed two movies I thoroughly enjoyed, In the Loop and The Death of Stalin. He has a very quick-witted sense of humor that I highly appreciate, so I always look forward to what he does next. This was out in theaters in August, but during a time where theaters by me were still closed, so I just got around to it today where it finally dropped on VOD, and it was fine. Unfortunately, it wasn't as great as I was hoping for it to be, and of everything I've seen from Iannucci, this is my least favorite of his work, but it was still a decent watch. Let's start with the positives. The cast is just phenomenal. You have a lot of great names in supporting roles that I haven't mentioned, including Hugh Laurie, Benedict Wong, Gwendolyn Christie, and Ben Whishaw, in addition to the aforementioned Patel, Capaldi, and Swinton. And all of them were a joy here. They're all very charismatic actors, and they had some remarkable chemistry with each other, almost never missing a beat. They all seemed really into their roles, and none of them disappointed me. I couldn't think of a bad performance. And as I mentioned, Iannucci has a very quick-witted sense of humor, and that's seen here numerous times. Some of the conversations are very fast-paced, very dry, and rely on things like little misunderstandings and characters' reactions. And like Iannucci's other work, there's an absurdist sense of humor to it. One moment that particularly stood out to me is when a group of characters are trying to break the news that someone fell ill and died. And what happens is, one character will repeat the last word that someone has said, as if to really hammer home the grave nature of the news, but they do it for literally every sentence, and it was a nice bit of dark humor that I enjoyed. Though at times here and there it can be dark, it mostly has a whimsical feel to it. Unlike Iannucci's other work, this is much more family-oriented, and it has a feel-good energy about it. It's a coming-of-age tale showcasing one character's growth and maturity over the course of many years. It has a bright feel with very colorful set designs and costumes, with some excellent cinematography complementing it. This is something that I think the whole family will enjoy together, as for the most part, it's a fairly laid-back, low-stakes film that chronicles the different adventures and relationships that Copperfield has. On the flip side, that's also my main criticism for this. If this is essentially what the original novel was, then I get it. I know it's a beloved classic, but it just felt so low stakes that I wouldn't call it a consistently engaging experience. It's very slice of life-like, which is always hit and miss for me. There's not one set goal that David's out to accomplish, or one obstacle that he's trying to overcome throughout the entire movie. I actually enjoy more personal character-based stories over major event films in general, but because of the way this was structured with no real set goal, I wasn't always invested emotionally. I'm not saying it was totally void of emotion or anything. There were some moments where I was genuinely rooting for David to get through something, such as the beginning during his troubled childhood, for example, but that wasn't the entire movie for me. It was very vignette-like, with some things working and some things not working. And because of that, at times, it kind of dragged. It's a 2-hour movie, and I don't even want to say anything necessarily needed to be cut, especially if this was more or less a faithful adaptation of the novel, which I unfortunately can't attest to. But for about half that time, maybe a little more than an hour actually, it was just these quirky conversations and funny occurrences surrounding David's relationships. And there's nothing inherently wrong with that necessarily. We all need movies where we can sit back and just have a good laugh, and this movie accomplishes that, so much that it was still ultimately an enjoyable watch. It just wasn't a consistently enjoyable watch. For me, this wasn't one of Iannucci's best work, unfortunately. Maybe if I had more of an attachment to the original David Copperfield story, I'd feel a little different about it. But it's a mostly low-stakes movie with a story that didn't completely hook me in. That being said, it does have plenty of redeeming qualities, including a great cast, a feel-good tone, and a quirky sense of humor. It's something that families definitely will be able to enjoy together, and if you're a fan of Iannucci's other work, as well as this cast, it's worth checking out at least once. It's just nothing spectacular. The Personal History of David Copperfield gets a 6.5 out of 10. So let me know, did you see The Personal History of David Copperfield, or are you planning to see it, and what were your thoughts? Did you enjoy the cast? Did you ever read the original novel? And what's your favorite Charles Dickens story? Let me know in the comments below. If you enjoyed this video, please like it and share it, and for more movie reviews and film discussion, please make sure to hit that subscribe button to stay updated. Thanks for watching, everyone, and I'll catch you next time.